Well, hey, good morning, Heights Church family. We're so excited that you're joining us today. Whether you're online or in person, I just want to say welcome home. And special shout out to all my guys out there. Happy Father's Day. We love you, we honor you, and we hope you have a great day.
We know we got some first-time guests joining us today, and if that's you, welcome home. We know that you could be anywhere on this Father's Day, so we don't take it lightly that you're celebrating with us in God's house. If you're joining us for the first time online, we want to know about it, so be sure to fill out our online Connect card by texting Connect to 34681. We want to send you an email and get you a free gift in the mail. And if you're joining us for the first time in person, we would love to meet you right after this worship experience. So stop by our New Here tent so we can connect with you and get you a free gift.
Come on, love the New Here tent. Hey parents, if you're watching online, now is the perfect time to get your kids connected to our Heights Kids online experience. It's amazing. You can do that by using our texting feature. And I also have some exciting news for all of our Heights Kids and Heights Kids family. We have this thing called Wonderful Summer. And if you don't know what that is, it's 5 free events, and it's to build community, it's to have fun. You gotta show up. And our first one is this Friday night at 6 p.m. hosted by our Midtown team, and it's our preschool praise party. Come on, you gotta get signed up. You can get signed up through our website or by using our app.
Come on, it's gonna be a wonderful summer. Our small group semester starts today. And if you don't know what small groups are, they're simply a time where we come together during the week to connect with people, build life-giving relationships, and grow our relationship with God. If you wanna see a list of all of our small groups, you can do so by texting Connect to 34681.
Come on, that's awesome. You gotta get signed up for a small group. Hey, we know 4th of July is right around the corner. And just as a reminder, our 4th of July experiences will be online only at 9:15 and 11. Check us out on our YouTube page, on Facebook, or our church online platform. It's gonna be an amazing experience.
Once again, happy Father's Day to all of the men in the house. We hope that you've enjoyed some coffee and donuts. If you haven't, be sure to grab some out in the lobby on your way out. We want to honor all of the men in the house, so we have decided to do a Father's Day giveaway where we're giving away 3 gift cards to Dick's Sporting Goods, Cabela's, and Drive Shack. If you want to be entered in for a chance to win one of these gift cards, stop by the cornhole boards out in the parking lot, and we're going to announce the winners next week on Heights News. We can only do giveaways like this because we have an incredibly generous church. If this is your first time joining us today, we don't want anything from you. This experience is our gift to you. But if you call Heights Church your home, we ask that you would put God first in all of your finances. If you came prepared to give today, you can do so through the buckets in the back, online, through our texting feature, or through our app.
Come on, coffee, donuts, and cornhole. It needs to be Father's Day every Sunday. Hey, Heights Church family, we love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in to Heights News. Today is a special day because we got a throwback message from our lead pastor, Pastor Josh Whitlow. It's one of our favorite Father's Day messages. So come on, let's get something to take notes with, and let's lean in to God's word today.
Because it is Father's Day, again, I was thinking a lot about family. I was thinking a lot about fatherhood. I was thinking a lot about what it means to be in a family, to have a family, to be a dad. I was thinking a lot about that because of my dad. Many of you know my dad and his condition with dementia and how it's progressively getting worse. And if you have not met my dad, you just need to watch last week's 11 o'clock service to know everything you need to know about my dad, and you won't need to know anything else about him. If it comes to his mind, he's going to say it, and you know what? It took me a while, but I'm okay with that. I told everybody from the beginning that as long as my dad is alive, he will have a voice in this church. He's a hero of mine, and it's been crazy because my dad and I are spending a lot more time together now than really even when I lived up in Northern Virginia before we planted the church. Because now when mom and dad come, when you're close, you take advantage of what you're close to. Yeah. Proximity, you can just get complacent to something you're close to all the time. But now that it's special, mom and dad, they don't come anymore for 1 or 2 days. When mom and dad come, 5, 7, 8 nights, 9 days, just long swaths of time, just extending. And it's amazing, and it's been so great. Me and my dad, every single time I'm going somewhere, Dad always wants to go with me because he gets bored very easy. He gets stirred. Where are you going? I'm just going to work. I'm going with you. Got to get on. Tell the staff to get ready. Dad's coming in. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to get any work done today, but just get ready. Dad's coming. And going to start anywhere he always wants to go. And it's been amazing, and I'm cherishing these times because, you just don't know what the future holds, and I'm embracing every single moment. I love going to Starbucks with my dad. You got to be comfortable in your skin to walk into a public place like Starbucks with my father, with who he is now. You just have to be, and he just walks in and he'll find somebody. The first thing he'll say, not hi, nothing else. He'll walk right up to him and say, "So who are you?" I'm like, "Dad, no, you guys, hi, I'm Arlie. Tell me no. How old are you?" I mean, just right in, and I try to get him out as soon as possible. And normally it's only 3 or 4 people that are highly offended at him before we leave. And I'm learning to embrace that. And I actually love every single great, happy, painful moment. And I'm learning some things about my dad from the questions that he's asking me. And it's interesting to see how my dad is viewing family differently now towards the end of his life than he did when he was building his family. There are some things that are important to him that I'm learning by just the questions that he's always asking me about what do you really value and what really matters when you're 78 and have dementia and you don't know how much longer you have. All of a sudden, your questions become much more clear about what's most important. And it was funny because we're talking about family, and my dad always asked me 2 questions. And the first question, a lot of the times, not the first question, I'm going to get to the first one, but I'm going to start with the second question. He always asks about you guys. Always asking about the church. "Oh, tell me about," and he'll describe you. And I'm not going to tell you what he says when he describes you, but he describes you. And I'll know who he's talking about, and we'll talk about him, and we'll laugh about it. And then the next question Dad always asks is, "Hey, tell me about the kids. Tell me about your family." My dad doesn't know all my kids' names anymore. He just knows all 4 of those are mine, which we're very grateful for. He doesn't get them confused with your kids or other kids. He just knows you're a Whitlow, come here, and you follow. And so it's great, but he's always asking me things, and it got me thinking about what I want to share this morning. Always asking questions, and very specific ones when we'll be driving in the car, looking at property, or just driving because we wanted to get out of the house for 10 minutes because it was too loud. And always say things, and I'm cherishing these moments, and I'm learning how to steward these moments when he says, "Josh, what are you doing to protect your family?" It's an interesting question. How about a question like this? How are you going to raise godly children, Josh, in this generation? How are you going to raise little Lucy and little Josh and little Lincoln and baby Josie to be teenagers that are passionately in love with Jesus Christ? And you can see the goalpost, the win line, the touchdown, the end zone for my dad has clearly moved as he's gotten older. That there are some things that are going to actually be more valuable than a 4-year education. There's going to be some things that are more valuable than how much money you make in your life. There's going to be some things that just mean more when you're at the end of your life, that you're focused on now. Is the most important thing is that these kids have a dynamic, genuine, real relationship with Jesus Christ. And I'm only bringing that up because I'm learning from my dad, and I don't know much about fatherhood. We only have 4, and they're all under 9, so the verdict's still out. And Chris and I, we've been married for 13 years. 13 years in August. I'm going to stay away from dates and names from now on. So we're not experts by any means, but I'm learning some things about this. I'm learning a lot from my dad. What I'm learning most of all about fatherhood and about the family is that my primary responsibility and my primary calling, you need to know, is not to this church. And this is difficult because when you pour your whole life into something and then all of a sudden you have to pull back and really weigh what is most important, what is my greatest responsibility and my greatest calling. I don't get it right all the time. But I am here to say that I am beginning to understand that my greatest calling and my greatest responsibility is to my wife and to my 4 children first. That I've always said that I'm 4 things. And this is I know you're like, Pastor Josh, get to it. I'm a follower of Jesus first. I'm a husband to Crystal second. I'm a father to Lucy, Josh, Lincoln, and Josie third. And then number 4, I'm the pastor of this church. Because nobody else can do 1, 2, and 3 for me. Only me. And I don't think it's never going to happen, and I pray to God it never happens, but literally somebody else could step in this pulpit and preach on Sundays and pastor and lead this church, but ain't nobody going to love my wife for me. There's nobody that's going to come try to raise my kids. And there's nobody that's going to read my Bible and pray to my God for me. And here's what makes this so difficult is it's hard. It's hard to have a family in this generation. It's hard for the family dynamic to work. It's not always easy, and this is what's getting me thinking about fatherhood and about our families in this generation is the reason why it's hard is because I just believe with all of my heart that the family, especially the American modern family, is only being called modern because it is under full assault and attack by the enemy. That it is, listen, the kingdom of darkness. You need to know the reason why you have relational issues is not because of that person. The reason why you have relational issues in your family is because you have an enemy that's so set on killing, stealing, and destroying your life. That the real issue is not your spouse. The real issue is you have an enemy that wants to divide and wreck and destroy the family dynamic. So families all across America in this culture are being wrecked and being destroyed. We don't know how to fight for our families. Many of us, we don't even know that we're supposed to fight. How are we going to, people ask, how are you raising your kids? A lot of, you know what question I get a lot is, how hard was it to start a church from nothing? How hard is it to start a church in your backyard? Isn't that weird? Yes, people think you're weird. What did people do when they came over? They stared at you. It was awkward. Everything you think it is times 50. Because how hard is it? It's not near as hard as raising 4 young kids and teaching them to love Jesus in this perverse generation. It doesn't even come close. The greatest responsibility that I'm feeling that we are trying to manage is that we are called to raise a godly family, to live a godly life in a godless culture and society. And how do you do that? How do you do that? How do we fight in such a way so that we can actually win in our families? I'm just telling you, I am completely sold out this Father's Day message, this season of our church. I am completely sold out to fighting and protecting for my family. I'm sold out to fighting for your family as well. I want you to be sold out to fighting and protecting your family from the plans that the enemy has for your family's future. Amen. We have to be able to fight for our families. I got it from this verse. I didn't make this up, by the way. I love the fact that the Bible talks about fighting in this way. Here's what Nehemiah chapter 4 says, verses 14. It says, hey, so the enemy's coming to kill and wreck all of your relationships and ruin your family, but guess what? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of them, and the only way you'll be able to not be afraid is when you remember who? The Lord. Why? Because he's great and awesome, and the all-powerful, all-knowing, all-strong, almighty God commands you, Heights Church 2, every voice say it with me, to what? Fight for your families. Hey, stop apologizing for fighting for your marriage. You don't need to apologize for not giving up on your kids. The Bible actually commands, fight for your families, for your sons and for your daughters, for your wives and for your homes. I'm just telling you, too many Christians are fit for the fun, but we're not fit for the fight. Christianity is not a playground, it is a battleground where we go to war each and every single day. And again, wave after wave of the attack, the assault of the enemy, the fight, and no Christians are fighting back. And so if the enemy has a plan for your life, and he does, the only thing I want to help you, I just want to ask you a question. Do you have a plan to fight back? Do you have a plan to fight for your kids? Do you have a plan to fight for your relationships? Do you have a plan to actually take ground and fight the enemy and keep him from fulfilling everything that he has planned for your life. So here's what I'm gonna do very, very quickly. Man, I'm doing so good. We're gonna get out of here. Wow, we're really gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it. I didn't think I was, but we're really gonna do it. Here's what I'm gonna do. I wanna help us learn how to fight. Is that okay? So I don't have anything big, and you're like, talk. No. I wanna give you a summer family fight plan. A summer family fight plan. It's okay to be a Christian and fight. Just fight the right person. Come on. You just fight the right enemy. Stop fighting each other and fight the right enemy. A family fight plan this summer so you can start actually fighting back from the wave after wave of attack after attack that you weren't ever created or designed to live defeated. That we have the victory in Jesus' name, but we have to actually use our weapons, and start fighting this war, really this battle called faith. And I want to help us do that today. And I'm going to give you 4 of these. I want you to take pictures. I want you to jot them down because I really believe these things are going to help you. That if you are going to have a family fight plan, every single family, it will always start with these key ingredients. Number 1, let me give you this. Your family fight plan will always have to start with number 1. You've got to make Jesus the center of your home. I wish it was more deep. I wish it was more complicated. I wish I could confuse you more. But you just have to make the right thing at the center of your home. I can say it to you like this. Every single one of us in this room here this morning have something that's at the center of your life. What is it? What do you mean, Josh, the center? The thing that's most important. You have it. A lot of times we're unaware that we've placed something at the center of our life. The thing that's at the center is now the thing that not only has the most time, the most investment, the most energy, but now whatever you put at the center, you also need to know all the other things in your life now, just like the SUN, are now orbiting and now revolve around whatever you've placed at the center. Josh, that doesn't sound like a big deal. Why is that a problem? The reason why that's a problem for us and the reason why we're losing so many fights in this life is because unintentionally or intentionally, many of us have placed something at the center of our life that cannot support or give power or give strength to the things that are revolving around it. Because whatever you place, again, at the center is what gives strength and support to all the other things. So here's what it looks like. Some of us, we don't even know, maybe our kids are at the center of our life, of our home. Kids. 4 crazy kids under 9 run the whole thing. Just half crazy. And so because we've placed kids at the center of the home, guess what revolves around kids? Work, family, schedules, future, schools, church, relationship with Jesus, everything revolving around kids. So now what happens? All of a sudden relationships begin to suffer and mom and dad start bickering and fighting because they place the kids at the center of the home, and the 5-year-old is sleeping in between the mom and dad and hasn't got out of bed in 2 years. They don't even know how to stop it now, but somehow they got 2 little gremlins now living in their bed. Y'all don't know. This is real. You're kind of doing the slight laugh because you're like, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Somebody told them. And now mom and dad are fighting, and now pressure, and all devil needs is a foothold anyway, so he just drove a Mack truck right through it. Now mom and dad, spouse, are hating each other and fighting with one another. And so when there's trouble, they have to draw on what they placed at the center for help, strength, and support. So now mom and dad, who are older, they're the parents, they're the ones who are supposed to be leading the family, now have to draw help, support, and strength from a 9-year-old. Does that make much sense? No. And you just need to know, again, I believe that many of us are losing the fight in our life. We're losing the fight for our family, and we are unable to fight properly because we've placed something at the center that has no power to help you fight, no power to give you strength to keep on fighting. Josh, that makes sense, kinda. How in the world do you put Jesus at the center of your home? You ready? Don't complicate it. It doesn't have to be super difficult. You put Jesus at the center. Can you go back? Thank you. You put Jesus at the center by putting him first, like in every single area. So it's not some big formula about putting Jesus. No. You just put Jesus first. Let me say it to you like this. Do you have a list that is your life, that are your priorities or whatever it is? Your list. Here's the question that you need to ask yourself if you're wondering if Jesus is the center of my home. Where is Jesus on your list? I can't answer this for you. Is he, I try to get him in when I can. God, I'm going to try to get you next time. I didn't get you this. Hey, can I just, spoiler alert, if he's not first on your list, he's not on your list at all. He doesn't take second place. He's not going to take 10th or blah, blah, blah. Jesus is not something that you fit into your already busy schedule. He's either Lord of your life or he's not Lord at all. And every single time, we just have to, if we want to fight for our families, if we want to actually win, instead of complain about all the defeats that we keep experiencing in our families, you've got to fight back. And the way that you fight back is say, God, I don't know how, but I'm just telling you right now, I'm making the choice that you're going to be first in every single area of my life, first in my time, first in my finances. I am desperate to keep you in first place in every single area of my life. So I'm not just going to be generous or give when I have it. Lord, I'm going to give it when I don't have it because I need to keep you in the center of my finances. God, in my time, I'm not going to read my Bible at nighttime, right? But you know, I'll just read my Bible. There's a lot of people that can read your Bible at nighttime. I can't, because if I open up my Bible at nighttime, I'm going to last 2 minutes and then I'm snoring. But I'm just telling God, that's what that communicates. You got the last part of my day and the leftovers, Lord. I hope you're happy. The last and the least part. No. I communicate with everything, God, that you are first. It's not easy. That's why I'm telling you, it's a plan. You have to choose to fight. I love this. You've got to choose who? For yourself. This day, whom you will serve. But as for me and my household, come on, 11, every single voice, wake up and say it with me. We will serve. We will serve the Lord. It's a matter of your will. It's a matter of your will. Do not wait for the feeling to put Jesus at the center, because I promise you, you're never going to feel like you shouldn't be in control. You're never going to feel like, you know what, today I don't need to be in control. Jesus, you take the wheel. I'll just take this one off. No. So what do I do, Josh? What do I need to do to initiate this plan? Here's what you do. You make the choice every single day. You make the choice every single day, God, that I'm choosing you. Lord, I'm choosing your will, not mine. I'm choosing your kingdom, not my kingdom. I'm choosing your way, not my way. And what's happening slowly but surely in every single area of your life, you begin to put God first. I'm telling you, get him on the top of your list. He'll be in the center of your home. And when he's at the center of your home, you'll probably experience something you've been searching for your whole life. What is that? Peace. Peace. Nothing else can. I'm telling you, you want a fight plan to start winning in your family. Put Jesus at the center of your home. And after you do number one, now you'll be ready to do number two, which is now build a schedule that reflects your what? Build a schedule that reflects your values. I have some bad news and good news about this point. Bad news or good news first? I'll give you the bad first, because good news is it's Jesus on the throne. It's going to be amazing. But bad news is everybody in here is busy. I don't know one person whose schedule is not busy. Yeah, this is why this is the most common Christian answer. Hey, how you doing? There's two words that are going to come out 95% of the time. I guarantee it's going to happen today when I come up and say hi to you. You know what you're going to say? You're going to say either two of these words, good and busy, and then you're going to use them interchangeably and at the same time. Hey, how you doing? Busy, good but busy. How you doing, man? It's been busy, but it's been good. At the same time, really, how's that go? Busy, good, busy, back and forth. That's the bad news. I don't know one person whose schedule, you're not busy. Everybody's busy. Everybody has a lot to do. But there's also good news. Are you ready for the good news this morning? Ready? The good news is you're in control. Amen, Pastor. That was a good one. Preach that. No? Why don't we say that? Because that means I'm responsible. I don't get to blame it on other people. I don't get to blame it on anything else. Everybody's busy, but the good news is I'm in control. I can make decisions. And if you're here and you're like, what do I value in my family? Again, don't overcomplicate it. You don't need to search for this. Your schedule will tell you what you value. So if you're saying things that you value as a family, if you want to know if they're really values or if it's just a wish list, all you need to do is look at the schedule that you keep to make sure it's a value. See, there's a lot of people that have values and there's a lot of people that have wish lists. Oh, I wish our family looked like this. Oh, I wish I was more, I wish I was this. I wish we did this. I wish we looked like this. I wish we could. No. That's a wish list. A value is something that you invest in, that you create time for, that you will continue to build in. And let me say something about this. Parents, look at me real quick, parents. Future parents, if you want to be a parent, listen. What you're doing with your schedule is communicating to your children what is most important. This isn't popular, this is truth. Whatever you're doing with your time, it's the only thing nobody can make more of, is guess what? Time. Everything that you do with your time it's communicating. It's teaching your children what to value. So here's the reason why I'm telling you that is, as parents, we don't get to throw up our arms and and complain about culture and the fact that Generation Z is now called the post-Christian generation. Of course they're called the post-Christian generation. They've been raised in a generation that values everything but God and His house. Everything has been more important. Why? Go back to number 2. We talk about what's at the center of your home, because you had something at the center. It wasn't Jesus. It wasn't God. So whatever's there, we gain strength and value and power from. So we put something at the center, and now everything else revolves around it, and we're paying the consequences in our families. In our families. Chris and I have several families that we look up to, pastors that are way beyond us. That have been doing it a long time, proven the test of time. And it's interesting, after we look at all their lives and talking to them, there are some of our role models. They're not our role models. They're not the best families that we know because of the things that they did. They're the best families and role models to us because of the things that they didn't do. The things that they were able to say, no, I'm not doing that. No, if that doesn't contribute to my purpose, then no, I'm not doing that. And it's amazing to see how much now more margin there was in their schedule so they could actually spend time and invest in things that were actually values. And I need you to know, I know schedules are one of those sensitive things, but you need to know, I don't care if you've been in church 500 times a year, your schedule that you keep, sir, ma'am, young person, is deeply, deeply spiritual. It's theological. What does that mean? Listen, it's theological and it's deeply spiritual because it's showing you tangibly what you value the most. You can't hide it, you can't ignore it. It reflects what you value the most. I love this verse in Ecclesiastes. It says this, it is, come on, say it with me, it is what? It's better to only work 40 hours a week. Let me say it to you like this. It's better to take a less paying job and not travel so much. It's better to say no to some things right now. Why? You're gonna be so much more happy if you have a little with what? I love this, with peace of mind. What everybody wants, but what no one's willing to do. Than to be busy all the time. I'm telling you, build a schedule that reflects your values. Josh, how do I do that? I don't really know how. Here's the filter, is you got to focus on what's most important. That's your step. Focus on what's most important if you want to build a schedule that reflects your values. And if everything is important, then nothing's important. You got to focus on what's most important. I can't give you what's most important for your life. I can tell you that Chris and I have created a filter for defining what's most important for us, and how that filter goes for us is, and when we're defining, are we going to do this? Is this going to get on our schedule? Are we going to give our life to this? Are we going to give our time to this in our schedule? The only way that it gets on there, the filter for us is this going to show up in heaven? Like, is this going to matter for eternity? Because I don't have time to do things, we don't have time to do things that aren't going to show up in heaven. We're on assignment. We're on a mission here. And we just don't have time. If it's not going to show up, we're not just wasting our time while we're here on this earth. Come on, I'm telling you, you got to make Jesus the center of your home if you want a fight plan that works. Build a schedule that reflects your value. And then number three, if you want to fight back, you got to start living by design and not by default. Live by design and not by default. Again, I think, too many Christians losing the fight for their family because they just don't even know why you're here. Confused our identity with occupation and purpose with occupation. Can I just tell y'all that God has a plan? You guys, we hear this so much. We're sermonized so beyond our own level of obedience. But God has a plan for your life. Do you believe that? Come on, 11, don't fall asleep on me. I'm almost done. Guys, I got 9 minutes and we're done. Do y'all believe that? God has a plan for your life? Listen to me. The plan that he has for your life is better than your plan that you have for your life. It's better. So whatever your plan is, I'm just telling you, if you just surrender it and let God have his way and his plan, it'll actually work out better for you. His plan is better. And the problem is the script, though, that we're living in our life, it's not God's script. And we're not living by design, we're living by default. And because we're living by default, all the things, our filter for which we view our design comes from the pain in our past, the hurt we've experienced, because we're never, ever got our design from the designer. We're just living for just thinking that I'm just here to take up space and work, and I guess I'll put some money in the bank and try to take care of the kids and just do the best I can and one day go to heaven. No, God has a call. He's got a design, and listen, his design is not the same for everybody's design is different, and it's unique. Crystal and I are experiencing this firsthand, raising our crazy kids. It was frustrating. You think you got one kid figured out, and then you think I'm just going to boilerplate that on all the other kids. It's going to work awesome. Problem is, none of our kids are the same. None of them are the same. And I'm getting frustrated trying to get my other kids to try to be like one kid, and it's just not working. I got one kid, 2 years old, when I threw the ball to him, it was like Terminator arm. I was like, how did you do that? I never even worked with you how to do that. I got another kid, throw the ball, 8-second delay. Ugh. I'm like, what, did you not see it? Let's try that again. I'm like, what, are you serious? I'm not gonna have a problem with that. Like, let's go. You can't. Get you some, and you got one kid that's brilliantly smart. Don't have to help them with their homework. As soon as they get home, homework's out, done. They're just, I don't know. We didn't do that. They were just born like that because we have another kid. I've got to do their homework for them. Just like, it's taking too long. Give me that paper. Parents, you know what I'm talking about. Get down to problem 3 and have to pull out YouTube real quick. Like, wait a second. No, I know it. I'm just. Because it ain't normal schoolwork nowadays. I'm just telling you. And here's the fun. They're different. And what I'm learning is thank God that they're different. Thank you that you made them fearfully and wonderfully, and not one is like the other, and the same is in your life, that not one of you is like the other, and God has a specific design, listen, that only fits you, and all of our goal, all of our resources, everything that we are as parents is trying to help them discover their design so they don't fall for a counterfeit later. I don't want our families growing up trying to appease all the voices that are around them, listening to the opinions of you should do this, and you should be there, and you should go here, and what if you did this, and what if you did this? I'm just telling you, I'm trying to raise people that understand. I want to be a part of families that understand their purpose. Why, Josh? Because when you understand, when you know God's purpose, it will silence people's perspectives. All these little voices speak, oh, you should. We have a business model, so you don't have to serve. You don't have to do this. No. Know God's purpose. Pastor Josh, how in the world do I know God's purpose? You want to know how you know God's purpose? Here, put it up. God's purpose will always include God's people. I know we wanted something big. What do you mean? You know how you demonstrate and you love God? You love what God loves, which is who? People. And God's design, his purpose for your life. If you want your life to start making sense, you got to start serving other people. You've got to start meeting the needs of people. This is why we have a dream team, by the way. We don't just have a dream team because we need to get a bunch of stuff done around here. There's people that are over there right now that are changing your kids' diapers, not because they love to change diapers. They're over there doing that because they understand that they're serving you and giving you an opportunity to have a break from your crazy kids so that you can experience the God who can change your life. There's people that wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get here and serve coffee all day long. Why? Not because they've just been waiting to serve coffee. They've been waiting to serve you. And if you want your life to make sense, if you want to discover your design, make sure you always know it'll always be connected to God's people, to serving on a team, to doing something beyond yourself, to meeting the needs of people that are all around you. That's why we do it. That's why we have small groups. That's why we serve one another. That's why we pray with one another. It's just not because we're looking for things to do. It's because it's who you were called to be. It's in your design. If you want a fight plan that really works, I'm just telling you, you better make Jesus the center of your home. I'm telling you, don't let other things creep into the center and have your life revolving around things that cannot help you. You better build a schedule that reflects your values. You got to start living by design instead of by default. And then this last one I'm going to give you, and we're going to pray. We're going to get out of here. I'm going to get out of here early. This is so good. I should do this every week. The last one really is the first. The last one really is the first one. Because if you want to plan to really fight, keep back the attacks that are over and over and over again, I like this one because I think it's the most simple, but it's the most difficult. You're always going to have to. You just got to keep it real. Josh, what in the heck do you mean? I mean, we live in a culture, we live in a generation that is plagued, that is surrounded with constant filters, people being fake, people being phony. It happens to us when we come to church. People want to worship, people want to give, people want to go all in, people want to serve, and I see it on people's faces every single week, even right now. I want to, but I'm just going to sit back and wait, see what this thing's really all. What's that? That's wounds from people not being able to do this. Keep it real. Y'all, let me tell you something. Fake hiding is exhausting. Acting like we're more spiritual than we are, pretending like we don't struggle when we do, pretending like we got it all together when we don't, and then calling ourselves followers of Jesus. See, I think Jesus was onto something when he was in his ministry and all the words that Jesus had that weren't very pleasant. Are you ready? Guess who they were for? They were for the religious. They were for the put together. The ones who thought, man, I got perfect church attendance. Man, look at my kids. I got great stuff. And Jesus over and over again would come along in his ministry and say this to people that were unable to keep it real and say this. These people, they love to sing the songs. They'll even be in a few small groups. They love to have the appearance of loving me. But there's an issue, there's a problem. And the issue is their heart is what? In other words, what Jesus is really saying, hey, there's a group of people that call themselves religious, but what's really happening is they're just going through the motions. What's really happening and what I experienced in my own life is, man, I knew all the stories in the Bible, but I never knew the God of the Bible. And you need to understand something. If you're having a difficult time keeping this real and understanding that this has to be genuine, this has to be real, this has to be authentic. Because if it's not, and you don't know the person, then all you have is religion. All you have is a bunch of stories, listen, that are powerless to help you fight your enemy. Completely powerless. And you'll just fall in love with this idea of lip service and singing songs and know when to raise your hand and know how to encourage people, but your heart is going to be far away. And if you ever get to that place, you just need to know you're not in relationship. You are now in religion. The only problem is you need to know that Christianity is not a religion. It's a relationship. Christianity's always been about a person, the person of Jesus, not a set of rules you have to follow. And when you fall in love with Jesus, everything else take care of itself. I'm just telling you, I can preach this so passionate. I could cry. I preach this so hard because this is my story. I grew up being so close, thinking I was so close to God because I never missed church. I knew when to raise my hands. I knew when to flash a smile. I knew all 66 books of the Bible. I knew the Old Testament. I knew the New Testament. I knew the kind of order they went in. I could play every instrument on stage. I could lead worship and sing songs like "Give us clean hands, give us pure hearts." The only problem was my hands weren't clean and my heart wasn't pure. But I could never let anybody know that. I was the pastor's son. And I lived my life going through the motions of religious expression. And it wasn't until, I'll never ever forget, I can smell it's so vivid in my mind. Ben Godwin came and he preached at this youth camp, and he was preaching, and he read this verse that completely called me out. And my life was never, ever the same. It's become a life verse to me. And I will share it to you as you talk about keeping it real, because I think if there's anything that the 21st century American church struggles with, it's authenticity. People just being able to be real. Call it like it is. I'm not okay. If I'm honest, I love religion more than I love Jesus. Because if I love religion, then I have control. And if I love Jesus, I've got to surrender control. And the verse he represents, and I'm going to show it to you, and it was Jesus. And Jesus said this in Matthew chapter 7. Not everyone who calls out to me, Lord, Lord, will enter into the kingdom of heaven. And when I read that, I had a big problem because that was so about my plan. I'm going to do as much as I can. I'm going to seem as close as I can. Everyone's going to think I got everything made. Actually, only those who do the will of my Father in heaven will enter. And on Judgment Day, this is the end, guys, you're going to see Jesus. Many will say again, Lord, Lord. He goes on, look at all the stuff that we did. In other words, there's going to be a group of people, Heights Church, and I love you too much not to tell you this, that seemed religious, that even served the poor and helped people. They had a lot of religious expression. They went to 21 days of prayer. They did a lot of stuff. Cast out demons in your name and performed many miracles. And everybody thought they were really spiritual. The only problem is when you stand in front of Jesus, Jesus is going to say, that's not what I wanted. I didn't need all those things. What I needed was you. What I wanted was you. I wanted your heart, and if I could get your heart, then we could take care of all the other stuff. So when I heard that, I was 16 years old. I must have done it 10 times since then. I mean, I ran. He didn't even give an altar call yet, and I was running down to the front. I was so broken with the realization that I had a bunch of religious expression without a personal relationship with Jesus, and it crushed me. I ran down that front, and I sobbed my face off. But God, forgive me, I want this to be real. I need you in my life for me. I need a personal, tangible relationship, God, with you that changes me from the end. I remember screaming, right there. And listen, to this day, I have one goal. I want to be old, y'all. I want to live to be old and have my kids You know what? Dad wasn't perfect. But he was, I'm telling you right now, he was real. He loved Jesus with all of his heart, soul, mind, and strength. I want Chris to be able to say, no, my husband wasn't perfect. But he loved God and he loved our family. I want to be able to look at you guys. I'm just telling you, I am sold out to this idea that we are called to fight for this generation. We are called to fight for our families. We are called to fight for this spiritual family. How are we going to do that? We're going to do that, I'm telling you, by making Jesus the center of your home. Build a schedule that reflects your values. Start living by design and not by default. And then I'm telling you, whatever you have to do, stop following religion and you keep it real and you get into a real, genuine relationship with Jesus Christ and watch you start winning the battle in your family.